from the book of First Chronicles. The book of First Chronicles. Go to chapter 12. Chapter 12, we're going to start with verses 1 and 2, and then I'm going to jump to 14 through 22. Still in 12, though. Amen. First Chronicles 12, 1 and 2. Then 14. When you have it, say amen.
Amen.
Amen. First Chronicles 12, 1 and 2, and then 14 through 22. Hear now the word of the Lord. Reading from the New King James Version. Now these were the men who came to David at Ziklag while he was still a fugitive from Saul, the son of Kish. They were among the mighty men, helpers in the war, armed with bows, using both the right hand and the left, hurling stones and shooting arrows with the bow. They were of Benjamin, Saul's brethren. 14. These were from the sons of Gad, captains of the army. The least was over 100, and the greatest was over 1,000. These are the ones who crossed the Jordan in the first month, when it had overflowed all its banks, and they put to flight all those in the valleys to the east and to the west. Then some of the sons of Benjamin and Judah came to David at the stronghold. And David went out to meet them and answered and said to them, if you have come peaceably to help me, my heart will be united to you. But if you betray me to my enemies, since there is no wrong in my hands, may the God of our fathers look and bring judgment. Then the Spirit came upon Amasiah, chief of the captains, and he said, we are yours, O David. We are on your side, O son of Jesse. Peace, peace be unto you, and peace to your helpers, for your God helps you. So David received them and made them captains of the troop. 19. And some from Manasseh defected to David when he was going out to the Philistines to battle against Saul, but they did not help them, for the lords of the Philistines sent him away by agreement, saying, he may defect to his master Saul and endanger our heads. When he went to Ziklag, those of Manasseh who defected to him were Anana, Josabad, Gileal, Michael, Josabad, Elihu, Zelophehad, captains of the army who were from Manasseh. And they helped David against the bands of raiders. They were all mighty men of valor, and they were captains of the army. For at that time they came to David day by day to help him until they were like a great army, like an army of God. Amen. You may be seated in God's presence. May God add a blessing to the hearers, readers, and doers of his word. Like I said, coinciding with the theme, the battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. The battle is not ours, but it's the Lord's. In our text this morning, we find David in the wilderness after he was banished from the presence of Saul. But the question is, how did he find himself in this predicament? All he was doing several years ago was minding his own business. You remember, Brother David? He was tending to the sheep out in the back when the prophet Samuel came looking for a new king, and now he finds himself in the wilderness. But before we see how David gets into this situation, I think we need to do some background work to see what led David to be in this situation. You ever find yourself in a messed up situation, but then you have to stop for a moment to reflect on how you got to that messed up situation? Well, you see, Samuel went to Jesse's home. following the instructions of the Lord to anoint a new king. You remember, for you see, Saul, the present king, had gotten beside himself, and to make a long story short, due to Saul's obedience, the Bible says, God took away the kingdom and was ready to anoint a new king in his place. And I just need somebody to remember that God is watching everything we do. God knows the motives of our hearts, and if we continue in disobedience, God will have something to say. If we continue in disobedience, God may have to take away something important to us. If we continue in disobedience, God may have to replace us from the blessing that God has promised. I hear Samuel telling Saul in 1 Samuel 13 and 13, you have acted foolishly, Saul. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God gave you. If you had, God would have established your kingdom over Israel a long time ago. But your kingdom would not endure. In other words, Samuel was saying to Saul, God gave you everything that you needed. But if you would have just been obedient, you could have kept it all. And I even hear God saying this morning, if we would have just been obedient, we could have still been on that job. If we would have just been obedient, we could have still had that house. If we would just been obedient, maybe the marriage would have worked out. If we would have been obedient, maybe we wouldn't be broke right now. Maybe if we would have been obedient, everything would have worked out. But even in all of that, I came to remind you that the battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. So since so Saul lost the kingdom to disobedience and eventually started losing his mind. But in the meantime, God was commanding Samuel to anoint a new king. While Samuel was mourning the fact that the kingdom had been taken away from Saul, God was telling Samuel to get on up and go. 1 Samuel 16, we read where the Lord says, how long will you mourn for Saul since I have rejected him? Fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I am sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be the king. In other words, the battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. And this reminds us that it's okay to mourn over a loss. It's okay to see what's happening and feel bad about it. It's okay to have pity parties and feel bad about yourself. It's even okay to ask that age-old question that the psalmist asked a long time ago. How long, Lord? How long? But sooner or later, the Lord expects you to get up and go. Sooner or later, the Lord expects you to stop having pity parties and do the work of the Lord. Sooner or later, feeling bad about yourself and about what God has done or about what you have not done needs to stop. Sooner or later, God gets tired of our whining and complaining. God wants us to get up and go. Sooner or later, God gets tired of our excuse making. Sooner or later, God gets tired of us feeling sorry for ourselves. God gets tired of us playing the victim all the time. Sooner or later, God gets tired of us singing the blues. We serve a God with all power. And I came to remind you today that more than a loss, that playing victim, that the battle is not yours, but it is the Lord's. So Samuel gets up and goes to the house of Jesse. It's there that Samuel asked to see the sons of Jesse, you remember, and one by one they all came in front to see if it was the one that God had chosen. But the Lord had not chosen any of the sons that passed by. And then Samuel asked, are these the sons? This it? This all the sons you have? I got one more out there in the back, but he tending the sheep. You really don't want him. Matter of fact, you ever thought about that? You know, I'll preach this text, I'll preach that text, I'll have to stay on that because you ever thought about, Brother Jesse didn't even think his son David was worthy enough to even bring. Have you ever had somebody in your life, see, I was preaching that, have you ever had somebody in your life that think you were even worthy enough to be brought? Okay. I just got one more, he back there tending the sheep, you really don't want him. Samuel said, nah, go get him. And I won't even sit down until you arrive. So I'm just going to stand here and look at you like you crazy until your son come and come in front of me. In other words, I hear Samuel say, I know I'm in the right place. I know I'm here. God is telling me to do this. I know that I'm supposed to anoint a new king. And I'm in the right place, in the right time. And I won't rest until I see this last son. Because he knew that the battle was not his, but the Lord's. And And as we walk in our obedience to God and we walk in the light that God provides, no matter how hard it gets or how it's not looking like it should be looking, we need to remind ourselves that God has called us and God has anointed us to do a work that God has called us to do. Yeah. God has called us for a place, a purpose, a reason, and a season to do the work that God has called all of us to do. And we won't sit down or give up until we have completed our mission. So many times we miss out on our blessings because we get too impatient and we want to give up and quit. Just because we can't figure it out, just because we can't see what's happening, just because things aren't going the way we want them to go, just because we thought things would be different, if we want to go home or turn around and just throw up our hands. But I came to tell somebody that if you give up now, you might be missing out on your blessing. You know that God has called you. You know that God has anointed you. You know that God has provided for you. So just wait it out, because the battle is not yours. Is the Lord. Yeah. So Jesse sent out, get the last tender sheep. And guess what? That's the one. The son's name was David, and Samuel anoints him king of Israel. But the first thing that David does after he is anointed king of Israel is to go to work for Saul in the palace as a musician. I want you to miss that. Future king of Israel, called and anointed by God. You remember the text, right? Have all that he needed from God, got anointed, and the very first job he gets was to be musician to the king. Yeah. But what neither David nor anybody else probably knew at the time, that God had David in the divine training program. Now, I wish I had time to really work that out for you. See, when God has you in the DTP, the Divine Training Program, you don't start at the top. It's not all glitz and glamour. It's not all praise and pats on the back. It's not bright lights and applause. It's not big crowds and people ringing your phone wanting you to come and speak here or there. No, when God has you in the DTP, you start at the bottom. Even though David was anointed king, and even though David knew that one day the kingdom was his, he did not refuse to be in the DTP. But many times, because of who we are, what we've been through. Do you know I have an earned PhD? You should not be having me at the work. We get mad at our bosses, and people who evaluate it. Don't you know what? Have you read my CV? Have you read my resume? Don't they know what I can do? Don't they know what I did last year? Don't they know who I am? And yeah, all that may be true. But we forget, however, that sometimes we're probably buckling against the divine training program. And what we must learn in the DTP is humility and submission. The reason why many of us go through something that we go through is not because God has forgotten us. No, to the contrary, God is strengthening us and removing all of the stuff that should not be there in the first place. God is taking off some false pride, some envy, some jealousy, and most of all, that rebellious spirit, and removing it from our spirits. And the only way to do this is sometimes start you down low so that you can see without a shadow of doubt that the battle is not yours, but the Lord's. Sometimes we get too self-sufficient and think that we can do it all by ourselves. Sometimes he could have easily said, wait a minute, hold up, I'm the king now. I need to just take over, move out the way, Saul. No, David was obedient. Starts working at the palace under King Saul, but something happens. This is where you get to your text, the text where your scripture comes from. The Philistines were at war with Israel. Some big guy named Goliath. You remember? Yeah. He was scaring the Israelites out of their minds. They thought they couldn't defeat the Philistines as long as they had Goliath on their side. But what the Israelites didn't know, that they had an anointed person of God on their side. And with God's help, David could defeat defeat Goliath with only a slingshot and 5 smooth stones. Matter of fact, didn't he need but one? And what I came to remind somebody here again today is that the battle is not yours, but the Lord's. When the giants of life have scared us out of our minds, when the giants of life weighing us down, when the giants of life have us thinking about giving up and dropping out, when the giants of life have us shaking in our boots, it is then that we remember that we are children of Almighty God. We need to remember that God has all power and that God shares that same power with us today. We need to remember that God will make a way somehow. When after David defeated Goliath, something happened to Saul. Instead of Saul being happy, remember, instead of Saul promoting David and maybe moving him up a little bit, instead of Saul seeing David as one of the most loyal people in the kingdom, instead of Saul being happy that the Philistines were defeated and Israel finally had some peace, Saul becomes angry with David. Now, why did he become angry? Well, see, Saul sensed that the people started moving towards David. Saul saw people applauding David. And then when you throw in women folk singing about that, y'all remember that? The women folk started to sing a song about David. Saul had slain thousands, but David his 10,000s. And the Bible records in 1 Samuel 18 and 9 that Saul kept a jealous eye on David from that point on. In other words, Saul had it out for David. Saul wanted to get David because he perceived that David was getting too much glory and credit from the people. And then the Bible records that Saul eventually tried to kill David. But the sad part about all of this, that David didn't ask for any of this acclaim. All he wanted to do was serve the Lord by being humble and submissive to King Saul. All David wanted to do was respect Saul and live in peace. He didn't want all this drama. He didn't want the back and forth. He didn't want Saul trying to kill him. Didn't go to the palace looking for ways to usurp or interfere with Saul's kingship. But all of a sudden, from being the king's musician to being the hero that slayed Goliath, David finds himself a marked man. And now he's on the run. You want to know if God has you in the divine training program? When people are mad and jealous of you and you don't have anything to be mad and jealous about, you might be in the divine training program. When folks tripping on you and you struggling to make ends meet, and you ready to really talk about, you really want to get on me, and you know, I'm worried about next week, you might be in the divine training program. When people are trying to trick and trap you and bring you down for absolutely no reason, you might be in the divine training program. When folk lie on you and lie about you, you might, and because they're scared that you might take their little position, you might be in the DTP. Look, Saul was the king. David was just serving. David had no promise. David had no power, no position, no prestige, nothing compared to Saul. Saul had everything that he wanted. Palace, the power, the position, the prestige. He had everything. But David's anointed. In other words, he couldn't deal with David's anointing. I'm going to help somebody right now. And maybe the reason why you're going through what you're going through right now is because we hooked up with people who can't deal with our anointing. God has a blessing in store for us. God has a breakthrough coming our way. God has something big for us to handle. God is preparing a way for us, and every step of the way we are burdened by some sucker who can't deal with our anointing. They may have more than us. They got a spouse, they got clothes, they got the look, they got everything but the anointing, and they mad at us because God gave it to us. But even through all of instead of worrying about trying to stop me. David had nothing. Saul had it all. And Saul is jealous of David. That's why we find David in the wilderness, in exile, because he's banished from the presence of Saul. All of the promise, all of the training, all of the time came down to this. David being banished from the presence of Saul and alone in the wilderness. All he wanted to do was serve. Just wanted to make Saul happy. Just wanted to find his space and place in the kingdom. Just wanted to be a support person. Just wanted to help. And I came asking, Canaan, have you ever been in the wilderness? All alone in the wilderness. Have you ever been ready to give up or drop out? Been ready to just to throw in the towel? Has God ever been silent to you, seemingly not answering prayer? Well, I came for some good news, with some good news this morning. The battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. I just need to tell somebody that's going through something. I want to tell somebody right now that's about to give up. I want to tell somebody who is tired and frustrated all the time. I want to tell somebody that can't seem to get it together, that help is on the way. The battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. You see in our text that David's banished from Saul's presence, but there's some help on the way. First, God sent him some help from the tribe of Benjamin. Now that's important, because Saul was from the tribe of Benjamin. Let me say that again, y'all ain't getting it. Saul was from the tribe of Benjamin, and God sent him some help from the tribe of Benjamin. In other words, I think you're getting it now. Saul's own kinfolk came to help out the new king. The same Saul who tried to kill David. Same Saul who was jealous of David. Same Saul who hunted David like a wild. The same Saul who said nasty things about his own kinfolk. Saw something in David. And they came to help David. And don't you know, when you're in the divine training program, and when you got an anointing on you, that God will use anybody to help you accomplish your mission. I wish I had time to talk about how God used Saul's own kinfolk to come in. When you are right and righteous and walking in the righteousness of God, folk that may not be on your side in the beginning, when they see how you're living, when they see how you're praying, when they see how you're singing, when they see how you're living, they, even if they are on or in the family of your enemies, will come rallying to your side. Don't miss that. Benjamin. Secondly, God sent some help from the Gadites. The Gadites first crossed the Jordan. The banks was overflowing. They pretty much cleared out all the others who were living there. These were some great warriors who saw something in David, who wanted to help him accomplish his mission. And let me not skip over this too quickly, but see what God is doing, sending them help from somebody that had cleared out a path for David to follow. But then God sent David some men from Judah, some old folk from the tribe of Benjamin. Remember, those Saul kinfolk. But then when they came, though, David wondered what's going on. He figured that he was blessed by the first group, but the second group had him a little bit worried. So David had to say, if you come to me in friendship to help me in my heart, my heart will be knit to you. But if you come to betray me, though my hands have done no wrong, may the God of our fathers, the God of our ancestors see and give judgment. I believe that right here is when David is tired of running. I believe that David was tired of fighting. All he wanted to do was go back to his nice life, serve the king and God, but he finds himself at this moment a reluctant warrior, fighting the enemy all the time. And he said to that second bunch of Benjaminite, if you want to go ahead on to get me, just go and get me. I just leave it into the hands of the Lord. So it is with us sometimes. Sometimes we get tired of fighting.
Yes.
Get tired of having arguments. Get tired of disagreements. Get tired of debates that lead to nothing. Get tired of fighting the system and all that it represents. Then that we want to throw in the towel and quit. But I came with some good news this morning. That the battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. Because after David said what he had to say, the leader of the Benjaminites had to say something. Instead of fighting words, he said something that uplifted David. Instead of harsh words, he said something that encouraged David. He said, we are yours, O David. You, son of Jesse, peace and peace be unto you. We come to help you. And that's what David needed to hear. He needed to hear, at least for a moment, there'll be no more fighting. No more warring, no more picking up a sword. Because help was on the way. Not only the Benjaminites came to his aid, but the Manassites and all the great warriors in their own right, they too came to his aid. So much so that David had a great army. Remember, he's by himself at first, running away from Saul, banished in the wilderness. But God gave him some folk. And I just stopped by to tell you that you may be alone to start. But if you just hang on in there, God will send folk your way. To walk with you, to pray with you, to talk with you. God will send folk your way to with the right word, with the right song, with the right message. Or God will send folk that will shut up long enough for you just to sit there and just think about the goodness of God, even in the midst of your struggling life. I just want to remind you today that if we can keep on hanging on, we realize that the battle is not ours, but it's the Lord's. I know it doesn't look good right now, but help is on the way. I know things look dark right now, but help is on the way. I know things look bleak right now, but help is on the way. I know you don't like the chances, but I also stopped by to tell you that help is on the way. Why? Because the battle is not yours, but it's the Lord. Marriage may be shaky, finances flaky, friends turning into foes, children acting strange, jobs stressing you out, but the battle is not yours, but the Lord. Sometimes we're ready to give up, give in, and give out. I know you don't understand what the Lord is doing all the time, but I just stopped by to remind somebody, hang on in there. Help is on the way because the battle is not yours anyway. It's the Lord. Be not dismayed. Wherever be tied, God will take care of you. Because the battle is not yours, but it's the Lord.